This is All of It on WNYC. I'm Allison Stewart. This spring, the work of artist Leonardo Drew is on the walls of two different exhibitions in our area. Tomorrow is the opening day of Drew's new show at Pace Prints on 22nd Street in Chelsea. The show features his recent handmade paper pulp work, including pieces he called tattered quilts. Drew's work is also currently on view at the Bruce Museum in Greenwich, Connecticut. The show is called Alchemy and displays more than innovations with paper created in the last 2 decades. While Leonardo Drew maintains a Brooklyn-based studio, his hometown is Bridgeport, where he discovered an interest for art and materials. A sample of his work on view at Pace Print is on our Instagram now if you want to check it out. I took the pictures myself at All of It WNYC, and Leonardo Drew joins me in studio. It is nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Let's start with the Pace Print show. It opens tomorrow. It features new handmade paper pulp works. When did you make these?
Well, these were made over the last year, but it's an innovation that's been going on for the last 15 years. I call my sisters. These are master printmakers over at Pace Prints, and we've been sort of like pushing the envelope in terms of what you can do with the material. So anyone that buys these things, they always think they're getting the real thing, like an actual sculpture. But it's paper pulp.
I keep saying, with paper pulp materials, please explain to us what that is.
Well, it's just a variation of mushed paper and being able to sort of mold it into to shapes and things. Obviously, because I'm a sculptor. And by practice, the idea of being able to sort of take paper, something that's kind of, you would think be alien to sculpture. Yeah. But in the end, if you can sort of like master the ability to sort of like shape it, you can get just about anything from it. I mean, the visuals, you would think, what you're looking at is the actual wood or whatever material you're mimicking. It can be sort of realized in paper pulp.
What do you like about the medium?
It's one is forgiving. I mean, and like the kind of wear and tear on your body. I mean, being a sculptor, I should tell you that there's a beating that happens to the body. I've already had like 3 operations in the last 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
We're talking in terms of corporal tunnel, just the abuse of the body.
I saw you in a video. You had like a back brace on while you were working.
I look like an MMA fighter. So I'm ready. I'm strapped for action. You know what I'm saying? So it's a war in the studio.
Oh, yeah. That is so funny. I'm having all kinds of ideas in my head. All right, let's go back to your exhibition at Pace Prints. It's called Tattered Quilts. Why is it called that?
That's interesting that you say that, because I'm sure I only mentioned that once in terms of what the feel of what we were after, because I absolutely never talk about absolutes when it comes to actually what you're supposedly getting out of the work. So if you're coming over with tattered quilts, you need to erase that. Okay. If someone told you that. So I think that maybe that's what you're coming away with in terms of the visuals. But as a starting point, it was interesting to sort of, at least for the folks that I'm working with, to know what I was after in terms of texture, feel, and spiritual realization of like what you're after. You have to actually have words to sort of like connect so that you can sort of know exactly what you're after. But the fact that I number these things is for a reason. It's so that you could have a full-on experience without me telling you what to experience. So telling everyone that it's like tattered quilts, it's like, let's erase that right now.
I got you. The pieces that are on view, it was kind of cool watching them put them on the wall, because they're really three-dimensional. They sure pop off and they come out at you. Why did you want to work with the paper in this way? That it just like pops right there.
Interesting enough, I was approached by Pace Prints 15 years ago, and the fact that I have a way of sort of like twisting and forcing materials to do things, they thought that if I came in, it would get the language of printmaking a lot closer to actual sculpture or painting. Obviously, there's a price point there that huge price points between the 2 things or 3 things. But when you talk in terms of being able to get a visual and a feel of a sculpture, and have the price point of a print, and then you can sort of like force an elevation in your sort of like the cost of what you're buying. And so I think being able to bridge or even sort of equal the price point of sculptures, I think that was a huge like reason for, I mean, not from me, but we'll put paste prints in there. But I think that when it comes to being able to take printmaking to another level, this is what we were after. And unknowingly, we hear from master printmakers, when they look at these pieces, they believe that they're, they find it hard to realize that these things are prints. But the fact is we've added something to the language of printmaking because we just kept pushing the envelope. And like I said, I didn't knowingly do this. It just kind of was happening. And by the time we got on the other side of this, it was like, okay, we've just added something, to the vocabulary. So, yeah.
My guest is Leonardo Drew. We're discussing his 2 new shows of work you can see in our area. One opens at Paste Prints in Chelsea tomorrow. Another is on view now at the Bruce Museum in Greenwich through May 10th. Some of the work has color. How do you decide what color you're going to use?
Interesting that color actually is a sort of a new entry into what I do.
Oh, interesting.
Started actually in China. I did 4 years of work in a foundry, in a pottery foundry in China. So working with like porcelain, which this place called Jingdezhen is like ground zero for that material. And it's like being able to sort of like realize glazing and being able to take that material and also add it to your language. It was a journey. And now it's been a sort of super additive to like what I do. So color is now a part of how I see things. Before that, though, you would have gotten a lot of monochromatic, black and white things, monsters. But in the end, there was no color involved. And so this added in the color it's relatively new. So yeah, I would say in probably the last like maybe 6-ish years. Yeah, it's
That's interesting that your travels influenced your work. You've been to, you said China. You've been to Peru,
you
Senegal,
name it, everywhere. Yes.
How has that influenced you, or are those bucket list places you wanted to go? I don't know.
Well, no, honey. I think that the idea that you can become a receiver of information, an antenna. So like when you're moving around, you're sort of like there you are in that location, and all these what we say cradles of civilization, they will feed you through your pores, through your eyes, however these things are going into you. They need to come out. If you're an artist, if you're a musician, if you're a writer, you'll find a way to sort of like to bring those things out in that language that you've mastered. And the fact that we all are sort of antennas, if we become in tune with our surroundings, we'd be more sort of respectful of of nature and all things. Travel. It's definitely is an absolute super additive to anyone's existence.
Where have you been has stayed with you?
China is a big one, but I should tell you that on your bucket list should be the Nazca Lines and obviously Machu Picchu. These are journeys that are physically take a sort of physical toll on you, but in the end, they're so rewarding. You come away knowing that we are not alone in this. There's something else going on, and you start to put these things together. The more things you see, the more you open up to the possibilities that we're being fed. And that information is still there, So if you're visiting some of these cradles of civilization, it's you can't help. I mean, if you're like in Egypt, the same thing. It's like it's you can't deny it. It's there, and it's like your body vibrates for a reason when you're in these places, So on your bucket list, yes, absolutely, I can make it for you.
My guest is Leonardo Drew. We'll have more after a quick break. You're listening to All of It on WNYC. I'm Allison Stewart. My guest is artist Leonardo Drew. We're discussing 2 shows of his work you can see in our area. One is at Pace Prince in Chelsea. It opens tomorrow. Another is on view now at the Bruce Museum in Greenwich through May 10th. That show is called Alchemy, the one in Greenwich. How did it come about?
Well, alchemy. I am that in the studio. So they gave it that title, but it is, it's definitely well deserved. Mm-hmm. I mean, the fact that there's the kind of experimenting that happens and sort of forced growth because of that experimenting. It's a perfect title. Yeah.
It's when you go on the website, the first thing you see is looks like a checkered board of colored string. What was the inspiration behind that piece?
Well, we won't say quilts.
We won't say quilts. No quilts.
Well, it's possible. I'll tell you honestly, when I look at these grids, and if I were to take a step back, I know that in my past life, when I grew up in the projects of Bridgeport, Connecticut, it was these buildings. I mean, they were grids, And if I were to sit down and really go what is going on here? I would say with almost certainty that these grids are highly influenced by those buildings, the shapes, the actual gravitas, the weight of being. I mean, there's no denying that. So we'll give that one to you. So it's like I say grids.
How did you get first interested in art?
Interestingly, you're born an artist. I don't think there's there are artists who actually find themselves by way of, how would I say, the new mediums that come about that sort of all of a sudden spurs a person on to realizing that that they were an artist all along. Mm-hmm. I have many friends who've I've been at this all my life, so I've been pretty much almost an addict at making things. And the idea that some of my friends come about making things in their 30s, it was the new mediums definitely came about to sort of wake them up to that fact that they were actually were artists. But I think they were all born artists. It's just it takes maybe some of us a second to sort of realize that fact. Yeah, but I am from the womb to now.
You knew.
Yeah, I mean, I was my mother tried to stop me.
Oh.
And that was not something that she was successful at. And most times she's successful at things.
Why did she try to stop you?
Well, I mean, if you're growing up in the hood and you're, you're thinking about, or at least she's thinking about a future, the arts. No, I mean, I don't think for any sane person you would think the arts would be a safe place to sort of hedge your bet. Yeah. So she was just being,
careful about you.
Yeah,
She's been careful about you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, who was the person who said to you, you should pursue this?
I have many mentors all throughout my life. Back in the projects in Bridgeport, back in the 70s, that would have been Richard Staymates and Ben Johnson and Will Collins and Wendy Bridgeforth. And I mean, giving all those guys props because they were there and made me realize that this addiction that I had for making was something that needed to be really pursued. And I started exhibiting at 13 because of them. I mean, I have a 13-year-old that realizes that, I need to take this and show it. No, you need mentors, people who are around you and actually feed you materials and actually give you ideas and actually gives you an idea, this is possible to take this, as a, it's serious as a sort of this is, your life can be this. And I've been, it hasn't changed since. I mean, I've been on this journey from that point, so it's been, yeah.
I read in the early 80s, and correct me if I'm wrong because, the internet, that you stopped drawing. Mm-hmm. Is that true?
Yes, this is true.
Why did you just make that choice?
Well, I honestly, I was approached by DC and Marvel. That would have been in 1977-ish because I remember DC had the Superman movie out with Christopher Reeve, and they were using that as the bargaining chip for me to work with them. But I was already poisoned. I had seen Jackson Pollock's work, and from there, it's took the top of my head off, and I said, you know what? That I don't know what that is, but I need to sort of investigate that. And from there, I saw the Picasso show in 1980 at MoMA, and that really pretty much cinched it. It was like, you need to, there are things that are holding you back, that are crutches, and it can't be at times these things that you thought were, like that made you an artist, being able to draw, being able to make things. I said, well, this is actually getting in the way. And I realized that if I was going to get to that door, Jackson Pollock, understanding what was on the other side of that, I was going to have to make a sacrifice. And that meant, tie your hands, now figure out how to create, not using all those things that were your strengths,
But
and
you
it
were
was
strong.
7 years, but it happened.
Wow. But you were a strong artist.
Yeah, I
That
didn't
way.
even know it.
Without drawing. I mean, that's amazing.
I know. It was. Yeah, I look back because I have all of the, the paintings from that time, and the ones that weren't, like sold. My mother's, was wise enough to sort of keep the best ones. So we have those. Of course, we have the books, the drawings, and So that facility was pretty. It was pretty intense.
What was it about seeing a Jackson Pollock that day, which kind
in
of
black and white,
which kind of blew your mind?
In black and white, by the way.
Yeah.
It was like the library had this edition of Motherwell and Jackson Pollock and David Smith, and it was like, you looked at in black. It was all in black and white though, but even in black and white, Jackson Pollock was powerful. So that should say something about what's the essence of of what he was doing, and the fact that me as a young person was able to sort of see it as an entryway. And once I sort of entered that, we wouldn't be having this conversation now if I hadn't gone through that door. So
it's amazing when you think about it's like the sliding doors of it all. Like
yes.
Turn left, turn right. What would your life be like?
Yes, you said it, honey. You said it.
I'm talking to
and
artists.
I'm still on this journey, and I will tell you, that I'm supercharged every day. From that.
Oh, wow.
We're talking from the 70s. I'm an old dude now, so.
My guest is Leonardo Drew. He's an artist. You have a studio in Brooklyn?
Yes, honey. In Brooklyn and San Antonio.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to ask you about having two studios. Mm. What happens in Brooklyn? What happens in San Antonio?
Well, in San Antonio, you can see the skies, you can see the stars. It's
beautiful.
It's just a whole the breadth of life there is so extremely different from New York. Texas ain't New York, Mm-hmm. So I'm so thankful that that something happened all of a sudden that charged me and made me make the decision to sort of buy that. It's a small ranch, and I'm just out there by myself. I don't have assistants, so it's like the idea that you can sort of have this inward journey and even have it magnified in certain places. Texas is, or at least San Antonio. It being out there and being able to sort of have the actual atmosphere charge you and sort of like nourish you in a way that sort of like it's just so much more revealing than like having I've been in New York almost over 40 something years, and it's this constant drumbeat,
Mm-hmm.
But there it's like this.
So you get your nice quiet this, but then you come back to Brooklyn, and what does Brooklyn give you?
Well, at that point I'm rejuvenated, I'm charged, and I can get back in and I can see things clear. But with this constant drum beat, you got to know that, you don't realize it, but once you sort of find the switch to turn off, and that's what San Antonio can be, even though I'm creating out there too, it's something that, that everyone should have the opportunity to experience, a moment to sort of and be introspective, and clarity is probably the biggest gift in all this, I will tell you. So having a time to sort of like reset and have that clarity, reset, it's nothing like it. It's nothing like it. Yeah.
What is your studio like? Do you have any rituals before you start
to
work?
I just get up and I go downstairs, I go to work, That's the ritual. And yeah, it keeps you, how would I say, it just keeps you in tune. If I was a tuning fork, I would say that, it's like it's a good idea to sort of like when you wake up to sort of like have that, to be able to vibrate into the studio, and know exactly what time it is, know exactly what you need to do. And the fact that I have like usually rotating like 7 things in the studio, I call them 7 crying babies. It's like they all need attention. So you have to kind of bounce around and feed each one, and they influence each one. So this is constant, absolute constant of like, being sort of like, I need you, I need you, I need you,
7
crying
different
babies.
projects going at once?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you just go whoever screams the loudest?
That's right. That is correct.
Wow. What are you looking forward to tomorrow about your opening?
Well, we're at 65 next month.
Yeah.
So what can I be? I've been exhibiting for 13 years. So what a question, What a question. It's like, no, I'm not. It's like I go in and it's going to come at me. It's going to come at me. And it's always something new, but it's like, and never expect it. But it's like, just go in and it's like, because if I was asking what I was going to sort of like give is one thing, but it's great to be able to go in and actually know that someone's coming in and they're going to introduce you to something,
You be somebody's Jackson Pollock.
Yes.
I've been speaking with Leonardo Drew. His 2 shows, one's at the Bruce Museum in Greenwich through May 10th, and tomorrow it opens up at Pace Prints in Chelsea. Thank you for being with us.
My pleasure, honey. Absolutely.
Coming up on tomorrow's show, it's Broadway on the Radio. We'll be live in the green space with the stars of the Broadway musical Chess. I'll see you tomorrow.